Hi, welcome to Relive. This is the second of 6 episodes in the Sachin Lara Great Rivalry series.
Not until the Australian series late 1992 did Brian Lara really rise up to the promise that he held for so many years. By the time Sachin was already a big star, he had already put himself on the pedestal, and Lara was waiting to take charge, and then the 277 happened. Now let's move on to the 1993 to 1995 period. Brian Lara blossomed in this period. Lara was on top in Australia. The 277 set him up for success for the next 4 years. He had an unbelievable 3 to 4 year period. He scored huge runs against Pakistan again, and in 1994 he scored a 375, the world record at that time, beating Sir Gary Sobers's 365 at Bridgestone, Barbados in 1994. And that series, he scored a lot of runs. He scored more than about 798 runs in that series. Also, later that same year, he scored what is still the world record for the highest score in a first class match ever. 501 not out for Warwickshire against Durham in 1994, which is an unbelievable feat. After that, in 1995 as well, he played exceptionally well. He scored runs against Australia in the home series, even though West Indies lost for the first time in 16 years. But then he really blossomed in England. He scored 3 big centuries in the tour to England in 1995, and Brian Lara was absolutely on top. People loved to watch Brian Lara. Even for people who were watching it on TV, you could just not take your eyes off 1 minute. That was the kind of mystique he brought to cricket, and as being a left-hander and being extremely attractive to watch, he made watching test matches a lot of fun back in the mid-90s. In ODIs as well, he was in spectacular form. At this period, he scored 169 against Sri Lanka, and that was his highest, and in fact, it goes on to be his highest ever one-day score as well. And in fact, this period between 93 to 95 were his best years in one-day cricket throughout his career. At no other point in the career he would be as good as at this point in one-day internationals. During the same period, Sachin Tendulkar was also in really good form. However, one of the things that he did not have going for himself was that India was not playing a lot of cricket at this time. Yes, they had some series against England, Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, but there was not as much cricket as what Brian Lara was getting. In fact, in those 3 years, Tendulkar only played 18 test matches. He did score centuries, he had a very healthy average, but definitely he was not primed up the same way that Lara was. In fact, at that point, because of the quality of opposition and playing primarily at home, he was not in the same level as what Brian Lara was at the same point. However, the story is completely different in one-day internationals. Until 1993, Tendulkar's one-day career was very ordinary. He had played about 70-odd matches, never got a century. He had a lot of promise, but never really came through. It all changed one fine morning in New Zealand in early 1994. And he scored an 82 absolutely swashbuckling innings, and he never ever went back again. He went from strength to strength from 1994 to 96. He had already scored a few centuries by the time he entered the 1996 World Cup. So in the ODI arena, those 2 years, 94 and 95, were huge for Tendulkar. He did play a lot. He did play really well in the opening slot. But however, the amount of cricket India got to play, and now it may seem strange when we say that, is extremely limited compared to what he would be playing in the second half of the 90s. And for that reason, I have to say, during this period, Brian Lara was on top, even more than Sachin Tendulkar was at this point.
Thanks for watching. Watch out for our next episode, Sachin Strikes Back.